Good evening. How are you? Well, I'm doing a sit and talk because not only did I have problems getting past the rain and past some work I had to do for clients, but we had a resist meeting, if you will, of all those interested in coming to a town meeting to speak their minds, ask some questions, and perhaps mobilize for action. And I think all of those things happen. So we finished up at after 9 o'clock. So I thought I'd give you a couple of words about the meeting. For one thing, it was a kick for me to see so many activist Democrats showing up, and some go back a number of years, but there are also new ones present. And if there's one thing that I thought was common to the entire group, it was the belief that this is not just another midterm election. What we're dealing with is something in the here and now that has to be dealt with. And as I speak to you now, two things happened today, which I think are important. One is that when our vice president and his wife went to Greenland, the people there, the natives, did not want to have anything to do with them and made it crystal clear. Also today, Canada has expressed its view that they no longer will have anything to do with us. The bilateral agreements are gone. They're going to be on their own, and they're not going to have people threatening to destroy them and so forth. This is all part of a piece in which I think history is turning against Trump at a time when he's not ready to deliver on the threats and bullying that he professes to have. And that if the nation states, through NATO and Greenland and Canada and so forth, are reacting, this is happening at a time when Trump is still weak. He hasn't established his monarchy. It's doubtful that he can curb the justices and curb the judges who are hearing the matters that are coming before them. He's getting a string of negative decisions, just as he did when he was relying on bullshit fraud to try to overturn the election in 2020 and to be declared the winner when he was the loser. As we all know, everybody who's seen the facts knows it. It's only the maggots that associate with Trump that think otherwise. I said in my short comments that I thought that there was a base level, a ground of our being that I would outline. Other people on the dais had others. I thought it was constructive, but that's something for those who attended to say, not for me. One of the things I did was I went through several points that I'm concerned about. One is that I think we're living in a society now as capitalism without a conscience. We see it all around us. These people, it's not a question of them not understanding. They do not care. And as a result, we have Christians without a heart. They don't care for others. And we have frat boys, as I've said it the other day, planning war and then disappearing their digital conversations together, which I'm sure is the reason that they use that particular app. The county that I live in has 17,600 federal employees. These are going to be affected, large numbers of them, perhaps all of them. And every family, as we've discussed before, has members and obligations that make a difference. Again, Christians without a heart, capitalism without a conscience. And what we have is a form of economic violence so far. But you can't say these disappearances are economic. They are to coerce us into passivity as if they won't come for us, just like the most repeated series of quotes from the period in Germany when they came after, that is, Hitler's people came after one group then another. And so there was no one, when it finally came to the person who wrote this prose poem, there was no one to protect him. That is the same plan that Trump has for us. Some may think, oh, that's alarmist. It is not alarmist. It is true. Experts across a wide spectrum of backgrounds are all saying it. But we have a system of elections ourselves when we're free and can operate in a basis of trust and honesty, the midterm elections. And then we say that tells us what the government should do or not do. If Trump has his way, he will find a way to defeat the midterm elections, just as he will find a way to be in power exclusively with or without an oligarchy in the 4-year period. So this is something to be concerned about. And when we're talking about economic violence, we're talking about, what about Social Security? What about Medicare? What about Medicaid? So these are all part of the attack on the people who live here, who care. They want to kill the education. They want to kill the opportunity and possibility for people. It's an anti-intellectual movement. And so who fights that? The ACLU fights that. The state AGs fight that. 21 or so state AGs have been fighting these cases. And this is our path going forward. And what it is that the courts, Trump can't get his handle on the courts. And that's where he's going to go, because they and the courts, the judges, are using the law and the facts, and they're stopping Trump at various intersections. It's not over. It's a continual fight. Congress is going to try to come in and impeach judges. It won't work because they won't get the numbers in the Senate, if they get them any place at all. And they also want to amend the Judiciary Act to limit the jurisdiction of the court, so that they can't have as wide-ranging in the Congress's, the Republican congressperson's view of how they're able to exercise the power they have. We have to think of it as freedom is a precious right. And we have a duty to figure and fight how we may for that right to be preserved and protected by ourselves. When I spoke earlier this evening at our gathering at the county meeting, I said that there's an Irishman, Yeats, who said there was an Irish curse to dream things the world has never seen. And the way I've always thought of that quote by Yeats, because I believe in the conduct of his life, he believed it. He says, yes, you can dream the things people have not seen, but because you dream them, you believe them, and you make them happen. James Baldwin would say, look at my face and look at your face. How are we different? But in a nation that is turning toward discrimination and hate of anybody who's not white and not male, that's intolerable. We have had that fight before. That fight is over, and we have to reinstitute the values of this society embodied in the notions of equal justice before law, and that we're all treated in a certain way that's equal, and that's not what's happening now. So when we think of the midterm elections, we should think that, yes, that's not something we should ignore. But this fight is happening sooner and faster, and we have to curtail the monarchical arc of Trump and his hooligans. And so that's where we stand. So tomorrow, I don't know what the weather's like, but I expect I'll be out on the trail, or I'll sit and talk and make some comments about what else is going on. I'm looking forward to diving into what the Canadian Prime Minister, I believe he's a Prime Minister, our President, forgive me. I want to see what he said, and I want to read in depth what happened in Greenland. These things are important to us. These people in these nation states and elsewhere are the insurance we need that we succeed and we stop this bastard. So that's what I have to say, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. And I'll attach a picture where I can of the vast array of people who attended the meeting tonight. I don't know how many. It wasn't 7. It wasn't 700. It was somewhere in between those two, and we filled this room, and there wasn't a head count, so I don't know. I'd like to say 400. I'd like to say 500. I'm not sure. But it was a group that was sensitive, active, had lots of questions, had comments as a result of their questions. Nothing was belabored, which is always a danger when you have a town meeting that somebody goes on. And people did care about things, but they found a way. Even some of the longer statements, they were all worthy of our attention, and it was fabulous to have this experience, because I think we all feel like we're awash in the can-do attitude that makes it possible to succeed. And some asked, doing this or that, might it not work? And I said, it might not work, but then you have to find something else. My view is that you see a sea of darkness before you, and there's a light coming out in one part of that vast expanse, and you go toward the light. and you work that problem as best as you can, and you keep moving. This is no time, there is no excuse for people who just stand by. You can't be an innocent bystander. You have to buy into your own freedom, care to fight for it, and then do something. It can be small, because the small things come together like a wave that can make a historic difference. And we're in that fight now. So that's all I have to say. I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.